Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today what we got planned is I'm going to get this oil pan bolted on and get it all squared away. So anyhow, let's get to it and we'll see how far we can get. Enjoy the video. For the sake of making things easier, I went ahead and did as you can see, I put the gasket sealer on there already. It's a lot easier to do with the camera out of the way, that way I can work around it. So anyhow, I just put it on literally like a minute ago. So I'm going to go ahead and slap it on the clean surface on the engine block, and we'll go ahead and give it hell. I'll throw you on time lapse, that way make it go a little quicker, and this should go pretty smoothly. Well, there it is. That went really smoothly. Obviously, it's still got a cure, but got nice pooch out the side and on the inside. So we're gonna go ahead and let this dry. I gotta go to work, so I'm just gonna go ahead and let this dry all day. And tonight I'll come out and take a look at it, depending on how tired I am after work. Worst case scenario, we'll take a look at it tomorrow together. But that looks pretty damn awesome. Got really nice squish all the way around it, so that should work frickin' fantastic. So anyhow, there it is. The quote-unquote rear sump oil pan is bolted on. Looks more like a mid-sump to me, but you know, I'm not an engineer. So anyhow, we'll get back with you either tonight or tomorrow, and we'll flip this damn thing over and put some oil in it and see what happens. I want to make sure it doesn't leak before I put it in the truck. It's a lot more difficult to do it in the truck than it is on the engine stand. So anyhow, we'll be with you tomorrow. All right, so I got everything cleaned up. I decided just for morale purposes, I go ahead and hang the header on there just to see what it looks like. And of course I turned the motor back over, as you can see. Not too bad. I still got a little bit of cleanup to do, but not too bad. Looks pretty good. I'm a little concerned about the space between the engine block and the header and where the frame is. I'm probably gonna have to do some serious fabricating to get this thing to fit, but we'll find out once we get it in there. Got my fingers crossed. That's what it looks like. Step back a little bit. Not too bad. The next step will be to throw it back in the truck. Hopefully we don't have any more issues. Alright, so since the last time I recorded, I had the engine on the stand with the header on there. So what I did is we put the engine in and just stuck the one bolt in this mount, and we left this bolt out and tilted the motor up like this and tried to get the header to fit in there, and it's hitting right along the frame right down there. So what I did is I marked the header and got it all squared away. It took us a little bit. We were honestly preoccupied with watching football. So to put the engine back in actually took a lot longer than was probably necessary, but you know, we're having a good time. So anyhow, I did mark the header where it needs to be cut, or not cut, but modified. Sorry. Well, actually, ideally, I would cut it, but I don't have the ability to weld stainless steel, so I'm going to try and do the old dimple it effect. So the squiggly line right here is where it's hitting on the frame. So I'm going to start here. I know for sure that this is all going to clear once it gets into position. So I'm going to try with the squiggly line and do this little area right here. And basically just heat it up with my oxyacetylene torch and take a flat object. I'm going to try a body dolly first. I thought that would probably make the most sense because that way it's a nice uniform punch. And, give it a little hell and see if that'll fit. I think it will. It's going to be, the only problem I have is right here is going to be really close to the frame when the engine's in the engine mount. I'm a little scared about that because obviously there's a weld there, so heating that up and pounding that in I'm a little leery of. The second part is I could still return this header and get my money back, but since I'm putting a motor in a truck that it really doesn't belong, I don't think I'm going to find anything out there. I've reached out to a bunch of people online and I really haven't gotten a lot back. Everybody said one of two things. Either one, poke a hole in the hood and put the header out the front of the hood with some zoomies on it and just send it. Funny, but I'm not doing that. Secondarily, everybody said, well, just put a turbo manifold on it and put a turbo on it. Well, that sounds great, but I really don't need the turbo. I'm not a throttle jockey. I'm just looking for reliability and torque, and I thought this would be a really interesting subject to try and do, since nobody's ever done it. So there we go. Worst case scenario, if I really screw this thing up, then maybe DIY header, or God forbid I pay somebody to do it. I don't really want to do that, but so I'm going to try this first because I don't think I need to get a lot of movement out of this area here to get that engine mount really close. If push comes to shove and I got to start screwing with this, I don't know if maybe lifting the engine up maybe 1/4 of an inch would help. So I'm not totally against trying to do that. I do have room to go up with it before it'll hit the hood. So anyhow, I'm going to probably do that in the morning. I just got home from work and it's like 1 in the morning, so it's probably not something I'm going to do tonight, but it was on my mind, so I wanted to figure this out. So tomorrow maybe I'm going to give this thing hell and see what happens. So anyhow, have a great night, and I will see you in the morning. Oh yeah. Clearance, Clarence. Look at that. Oh yeah. Okay, let's see if I can get this back in there without burning the shit out of myself. That would be a good idea. Alright. Well, that went way better than I thought it was going to, I gotta say. Alright, fantastic. As you can see, it didn't take a whole lot of effort to dimple that in a little bit. So I'm gonna go test fit it real quick, so I'll throw you on hold and see what happens. Oops. Okay, so I clearanced a bunch right along through there, and so after I did that, I bolted it. I took most of the studs out of the head for the exhaust manifold because this header's crooked as a dog's leg and it was kind of a pain in the ass to get it off and on. So what I did is I took most of the studs out and I left 3 on the back. Shit. Hang on here. So I left 3 studs in the head for this rear portion of the manifold to make it easier to take it off and on because it's going to come off and on a lot. So anyhow, after dimpling all this, I ended up trying to bolt it up, and the flange was hitting the frame. Not a huge deal. I hate those anyway. They frickin' leak. I don't like them. So I'm gonna take a portaband, cut it off, because I had plans of going in a different direction anyway. So my plan is to cut this off, and then I got a dimple right there where that weld is, right through there, and then we should be really close. Worst case scenario, I am gonna have to do right through this area too, but first things first, I want to get that cut off and get this all dimpled in, and then see how low I can get the motor in, and then we'll figure it out from there. So we're making some progress. This all clears now, so it's happy, and I really didn't have to screw it up too terribly bad. I mean, I beat the shit out of it, but it's not a performance engine. I don't think it's going to cause any issues at all. Anyhow, we'll find out together now, won't we? So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do that real fast, and then we'll go from there. Alright, well, I'm really trying to make lemonade out of this lemon. So, okay, what I found out is in the time-lapse, when you saw me shuffling my feet over in the background there, so when I put it in, since there's nothing attaching these two together, when I was heating this side up over here and beating the shit out of it, this one actually started cocking out this way. So when I tried to bolt it onto the motor, it was taking the back end of this and swinging it this way into the frame. So what I just did is, since stainless is a spring style steel, I threw it in the vise and I clamped it together as tight as it would. I mean, they're touching right there. As you can see, the top side up here is that way, which when I release this, it should spring back. So what I did is heat this whole side up over here with the pressure on it, with the hopes that when it cools off and everything, it will relax back into its natural position and hopefully keep this away from the frame. Looks like I'm pretty good up here. Maybe a little more work to be done on that. So anyhow, that's what I just did real quick, and I'm hoping it'll work. It's cooling off right now, so I want to leave it in the vise and let it cool off all the way. And then hopefully, if anything, if it does stagger this way, when I bolt it up, it's going to push the back end of the exhaust away from the frame. Because I've got lots of room between the transmission and the front and the exhaust, but I don't with the frame. So that's my hope that it will that will work that way. Fingers crossed. I guess it's too late to return this, huh? I wonder how the eBay guy would feel if I returned this with it dimpled and the flange cut off. He'd probably tell me to kick rocks, wouldn't he? So anyhow, I'm waiting for this thing to cool off, and once that's done, we'll throw it in there again, and hopefully this bitch will start to fit a little better. If not, I'm gonna have to try and figure something else out. I have an idea, but I gotta find somebody that can do TIG welding, and if I had a TIG welder, I'd already fixed this, but I don't, so we're just trying to do redneck ingenuity, use heat and hammers and crap like that to try and get this thing to fit. Anyhow, thanks for coming along with the ride, and I'm gonna let this thing cool off, and we'll give her a go again here in a minute. All right, guys, well, we ran out of time today. Anyhow, we're gonna get at it tomorrow morning, make this thing fit if at all possible. We're either A, gonna make it fit, or B, ruin it, or maybe C, both. So anyhow, I appreciate watching the video, and if you have time, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the little post notification bell, that way you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And thanks again for watching, and have a great day.